Hi, this is my review of When in French by Lauren Collins. This book was published in September 2016, so it's a fairly new release. It's nonfiction biography, and it's very short. It's just 237 pages. Um, I was actually reading this book because I'm taking part in readathon, which is borrowathon, and this is a book that I borrowed from the library. And I'm really glad I picked it up at this time because really want to read something light and fun, and this was just that. And she is such a funny writer. Like there were times when I was sitting in the subway, when I was sitting in um, outside in public places, and I was laughing out loud, which I rarely do when I'm reading, and I felt so conscious. So, this book by Lauren Collins is her story of learning French. And she is a writer, and she fell in love with a man who speaks French. And while he can also converse in English, the problem was that they had moved to Switzerland after getting married, and she needed to communicate to people in Switzerland. And so she decided that she's gonna learn French. So, this is her relationship with French and how it was difficult becoming part of an uncharted territory, learning something new, learning things that learning not only to be fluent but good at it, but understand grammar, understand um, sayings. There's so much to a language, and she talks about her experiences, and they are laugh out loud funny. Um, but apart from that, this book is not only about her, it's also about real life historical anecdotes with reference to language that she's put in. So she talks about Queen Victoria learning Urdu from a tutor. She talks about when United States during some disagreement with French, people actually banned all items that they were selling which said French. So instead of French fries, they were saying freedom fries. She talks about Bradley Cooper, who actually gave an interview in French very well, and it impressed people. So she talks about so many things and from such different time frames and from such different areas that it's hilarious. How has language come into being? What does it mean about us? How do uh, children learn it? How do people learn it? How come there's so many languages, and who is speaking what language and how much? And where is French today and where is English today? Of course, that's the big question. But it's such a nice light read, and I really enjoyed it. I rated it a 3.5 out of 5 for the sole reason that I'm not a very avid reader of nonfiction. I It's not my favorite genre. Secondly, I felt that in her narrative, sometimes even in between sentences, she would go back and forth between an idea, which in the beginning was a little confusing for me because I was not familiar with her writing style. And even between sections of her chapters, she would jump very rapidly between uh, her life and anecdotes from the history. So that to me was a little confusing and a little too much to deal with. Sometimes she has written um, sentences in French which she has not translated in English, and that sort of left me a little hanging because I don't know French at all. But otherwise, I thought it was such an interesting book because language and for any reader, for any writer, is so important. We thrive on the language we read in and the language we understand. And she has taken that and she's explained how wonderful it is and how great a subject this is, not only for a reader or a writer, but someone who's communicating, someone who's just living somewhere and trying to talk for history, for war, for politics, for everything. Eh, it's such a nice, fun read, and I'm so glad I read it. And I would recommend it to anyone who wants to sort of take a break from the big, heavy mysteries, novels, literary fiction that you've been reading, and pick it up and enjoy. Uh, really funny and really nice. And yeah, I'm so glad I picked it. I can't say that in any other way. It looks, the cover speaks for itself. It looks very simple and very sweet, and this is exactly what it is. So thank you.